Hello, good morning. So today we are going to talk about building muscle, sculpting your body, and burning fat, which is something that I'm, of course, very, very passionate about. It's what I spend my whole life researching, studying, and trying to find and looking and getting deep into different studies so I can help you help your body be the most effective, amazing being that it could possibly be. So the reason why it is so important to build fat, build fat, no, build muscle and burn fat is because our muscle is actually like it has its own like chemistry. It has its own dynamic way of building our muscle to be more energetic. So our body's more energetic. Muscle helps us with our skeletal, how we stand up tall. It helps build stronger bones, and it actually is like it metabolizes your whole body to make you function better. So, when we're talking about the idea of building muscle and burning fat, the first thing I want to ask you is just write down quickly, like what is right now working for you. So, just write down on your piece of paper what's working for you. And then on the second side of it, like what's frustrating? What is like making you mad? Like like, we all hopefully very much love our bodies and we're like totally getting over that. Like, oh, I need to be this X amount of weight to feel this way. But what I want us to do is really look at like we can optimize our body. We can at any age, we can burn fat, we can build muscle, and we can be the strongest that we are meant to be. So, before we dive into that, what I want to talk about today is not losing weight. So, you're not going to hear me tell you about like the weight that your body should be because what I believe is the more muscle you build and the more you focus on burning fat, your body becomes optimal for you and for your activity and for your height and for your age and all that good stuff. So this morning, I don't know if you could see it behind me, but I did like my InBody scan. So what I want to encourage you guys to do is do an InBody scan or like a DEXA scan. What we do at Kaya is we do these at bricks. So we do them well, actually 6 times a year because we do them at the beginning and the end. And it's so much more important to see how much muscle you have on your body, how much fat you have on your body, where that fat is. And then we can also look at things like, is your right leg stronger than your left leg? Because then that could cause injuries in the long term. So if you haven't done an InBody scan lately, and I know Naomi, you sent me your scan, which looks amazing, but go get a DEXA scan, go get an InBody scan. So then after we take these notes from this talk, you can look at your InBody scan and then you either with your coach, you can share it with me, or on your own, you can look and make real goals, not just like silly weight goals, because our body changes through the years and a weight is just a number. If you have a lot of muscle, you're going to be heavier than if you had the same body but a lot of fat and no muscle. So which would you rather? You'd always rather the muscle because muscle is like kind of like a Spanx for your body. It like pulls everything in tight and it makes you feel and look really good. So we're going to really focus on building that muscle and then we're going to go through 3 of my favorite simple things to focus on to burn fat and build muscle by the end. Okay, so just I know we probably know this, but just a little information is after the age of 40, we lose 1% of muscle mass per year. After the age of 60, we lose 2% of our muscle mass a year. So, what that means is we need to wage war on that loss of muscle and say, instead of looking at the number on the scale of your weight, we're going to look at how much skeletal muscle that you have, where the muscle is in your body, how much fat that you have in your body and where that fat is. So you guys have heard me talk a lot about visceral fat. I know like the subcutaneous fat, the fat like that you see on the outside kind of pisses you off, but it's the visceral fat that the fat on the inside of our organs that really matters. And so that's what we're going to dive into is fighting against that. And so instead of being like, oh my gosh, I have to lose weight and I can only eat this amount of calories, we're going to be like, oh my gosh, I need to gain muscle. And in order to gain muscle and lose fat, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. So it's an additive behavior, which is really, really important. So the three things that I'm going to focus on today, and this is not going to be a surprise to you, but I really want us to look at things in a different light, is our food. So we're going to talk about eating your veggies, protein, okay, and then when to eat. We're going to talk about exercise, about because Pilates and yoga, even though I love them myself as well, it's not enough. As mom, as you know, riding your bike is not enough. Like we have to weight train to preserve and build muscle. We have to weight train to build strong bones. And I want to go through that just quickly. And then last all is the third is sleep, is really making sure if we're not sleeping enough, we are not going to be able to metabolize the food that we eat. We're not going to be able to eliminate it. It's going to store as fat and we're going to be unhappy. So with your InBody, once you get your InBody, the things that I want you to look at or ask for before you get it is your visceral fat. I want you to look at how much skeletal muscle you have and your body fat. So those are the three things that we're going to look at on your body, not just your scale. And you can get a scale at home. I think it's like the titaniums are really good, but you can get a scale at home. Don't have a scale that just has the number, the weight, throw that away. And I know, Naomi, I'm super proud of you. You put your scale down in the garage. I hope it's still there. And just do your InBody scans throughout the year. And then so you keep on track, but you don't need to look every day because every day you're not going to be like seeing that muscle gain. Every day we fluctuate our weight so much, but we want to have markers like anything to see where we are at the beginning of the year. I always take my birthday. That's kind of I always hit my birthday and I know, and I don't stress myself out about it, but I know when I hit my birthday, what numbers I want and how much muscle I want, how much body fat. So like if you look at my skeletal muscle, I have 70 pounds of my body is muscle. And if I looked at like my muscle throughout all of my InBody through history, is since the last time I took my InBody, which was at the beginning of our 21-day challenge, I gained I gained 1 pound of muscle. And then my body fat percentage was at it's 15.3. So it's pretty regular there, but from the last time it's down about a half a percentage. So, and I'm going to tell you what I do and how I do to get that. And not by any means, not that what I do is perfect because I work a lot. I don't always sleep great. But I do show up for my workouts. I don't miss my workouts, and I do show up for my veggies. Those are the two things that I do, non-negotiable. Okay, so let's really quickly talk about. Let's dive into food first. So food first. We were talking just like small talk before this started. Is as we get older, it's harder to digest and assimilate the protein that we eat. So I do think as a society, we are over proteined. We think about protein too much, but I also want to be careful that we're not that we are getting enough protein and that protein is able to build our muscles. But when we're thinking about losing fat, especially visceral, gaining muscle, the first thing, and I know you guys are going to be like, here she goes again with the veggies. So the first thing is we need to eat more veggies as a society. So every single meal should have 1 to 2 servings of veggies. And thinking about like at the end of the day, having 8 to 10 servings of veggies. So it's like 1 to 2 pounds of veggies. When you're hungry in between meals, make that a hard line that you eat raw veggies. So broccoli, so there are like, when it comes to weight loss, there are like the powerful veggies, the power hitters, which are the cruciferous vegetables. So eat your cruciferous vegetables and then think about your protein. So now, if you get too much protein, studies have shown that that can lead to increased risks of cancer, increased risks of heart disease. So I want us to be really careful not thinking about like that typical like um, protein, 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 just eat meat. That's not going to be great for us in the long term. And it's not just about losing fat, it's also about longevity, right? We want to have a long health span. So that protein is something that you really want to think about with your body. So studies show about 0.8 grams uh, per pound of body weight. So I kind of think about, for me, I do in the morning after my workout. So also like timed eating. I do intermittent fasting. So after I break my fast, I almost every day have my smoothie. So I do this. This is like, because then you can almost for sure. And if you're eating meat, or eating eggs in the morning, don't over protein, because that over protein causes us issues. So we really need to track. You don't need a huge protein shake if you're having eggs and bacon. So be really careful with not like overdoing the protein. But for me, when I am done with my fast, the first thing I do is I do my smoothie. And sometimes it's a smoothie, or sometimes it's 2 scoops of my Aura protein, 2 scoops of my Aura greens, and maybe like maca water. I shake it up and I drink it. So I just know that I have that on board after my workout to build that lean muscle. And the greens in it is to help me metabolize that protein effectively. So you've got those prebiotics, which are those like the like digestive enzymes in your smoothie to help you absorb the protein in your meals. So I also, like, every morning I do chia seed. So I ground up my chia seed. I do hemp. And this is probably because I'm lazy, because I have to go really fast for like getting my food in, because usually by breakfast time I'm mid work. So I do coconut milk, hemp seeds, chia seeds, blueberries, and my cinnamon. And I make it hot, and I love it because sometimes the smoothie makes me cold. So those are the things that I do. So your protein in the morning is important. And then that like afternoon, I don't eat late, so I tend not to eat after like 5 p.m., 5:30. I'm not like regiment. I'm honestly not like super rigid with anything I do. I just 90% of the time stay with like, I finish eating by 5 or 5:30. I start my breakfast about 9 a.m. And that's kind of like my routine of eating. So when we're thinking about our food, think about how many veggies you're getting, how much protein you're getting, and possibly a digestive enzyme or those cruciferous vegetables to really help you. And that you guys, that I'm a huge fan of like pre and probiotics to help with your gut health, because it helps you if your gut is not assimilating the nutrition, the micronutrients, then, or the protein or whatever it is, then you're going to store it, yeah, or eliminate it when we need that to build muscle and to help metabolize the fat and get rid of the fat. So I'm a big fan of also vitamin D. So like, this is soul food. So I take vitamin D every day. And especially in the winter, right? This has been a long winter. And then I also, for burning fat, I love apple cider vinegar. So these are happily ever after, but you can also just make your own apple cider drink. So almost not every day, but like 3 times a week, I do my water, and sometimes I do it warm in the evening, like my nightcap. I do maybe 2 teaspoons, 1 teaspoon of organic apple cider vinegar. I put cinnamon, maybe a little stevia if I have a sweet tooth, and a little teeny bit of cayenne. So that is kind of like my like fat burning, metabolism, yummy apple pie. So those are kind of some of the supplements that I want to talk about. Okay, so let's go quickly into exercise. We need to keep our mind focused when we're working out. And if you are going to lose fat, gain muscle, sculpt your body, find like the chisel in the arms, the abs, the lift your butt, all that kind of stuff. When you're working out, it's your time to like really dial in your focus muscle. And that's why I love meditation so much, because it teaches us not to think about what your neighbor's doing, not to think about the things that you have to do for the day. It teaches you to focus on the body part that you're putting effort towards. And I have to remind myself all the time when I'm doing push-ups, I'm not like, oh my gosh, I have to do this for 1 minute. And I'm like crying in my head, I can't do it. I'm not strong enough. Or I'm going to say, I'm going to do one really amazing push and I'm going to work through my strong arms. I'm going to have my abs in that braced breathing. I'm going to squeeze my glutes. And so everything, even just one exercise, is really, really effective. If I just go into my workout and I'm like, oh, talking to my friends and just kind of like going around, and then I do kind of squats like this, and I'm like, my weights are kind of going all over. One, it's like dangerous for us to get injured because we're not thinking about like our body. But two, you're not going to get the results because that's kind of just movement, which is great. We love movement. We want lots of movement through the day. But when you work out, I want you 100% focused on gaining lean muscle. So in order to do that, you have to get to failure. So when you're thinking about, and a lot of times we worry about injury, and so, which I don't want you to worry about it, but I do want you to focus on your form first. I'm not telling you to go deadlift your body weight. I'm not telling you to push harder than it's with consistency comes muscle. And so, but I do want us to increase that weight steadily over the lifetime of what we do. So if you're thinking about if you work out with us live stream at home, think about just going down to the local Play It Again Sports and get some heavier weights at Kaya or wherever you are. Look for those heavier weights, and you can always grab the lighter weights, because if you go to failure, so if I'm doing kettlebell swings and this ends up being too heavy for me, then I'm going to set it down, grab a lighter weight, and then keep going. But in order for me to gain muscle, at the end, I should not be able to do even one more. So that HIIT training is the best way. We created Kaya for this. Like, we want you to gain muscle, to feel really good, to have incredible mobility, to be super balanced. And so when you look at and if you're not doing Kaya, just try to schedule the right amount of workouts and mobility classes like yoga, bar, those kind of things, to counterbalance that heavy lifting. And that heavy lifting can be your body, right? My body is heavy. So if I am doing a pull-up, or if I'm doing a push-up, or if I'm doing a squat, I'm lifting my body. So your body is heavy as well. I'll just go really quickly. I think I only have a couple more minutes with you guys, but this is what I do, my schedule for working out. So Mondays, I do HIIT, which is Kaya cross training. And I always focus on movement through the day. So I'm going to tell you what I do for like my actual workouts, but in general, I do work on the computer a lot. Everybody's like, oh, you get to work out all day because you do Kaya or tumbleweeds or whatever. But I'm like, no, I'm on the computer all day long, working on the computer. So I have to set my alarm, and I create movement throughout the day. So whether I walk Layla around the block, whatever, I just make sure that I move through the day. But these are my actual workouts. So Monday, I work out Monday night. I do our Kaya cross training, which is HIIT workout. Then Tuesday, I do HIIT workout that next day again. You never have to, unless you're working out on your own, you don't have to worry about what body parts when you show up to Kaya, because we have a programmer that plans all of that for you. Raina works really hard on the back end to make sure that you are getting like the proper muscle build for like all of your body. Um, on Wednesday, I run. Thursday, I do yoga. And I usually do like a cross training in the morning. Friday, I do yoga. Saturday, I do something outside. And then Sunday, I do bar. So I'll do 3 cross training a week. I do try to do 2 yoga, maybe 1 yoga, 1 bar, and then I run or hike outside a couple times. Um, what I want us to focus on with building muscle is multi-directional focus and really thinking about, because so often like compounded movements. So often we're like, okay, I want to lose fat on my stomach and I want a stronger stomach. So we do the good old fashioned crunches. But in reality, and same like with our biceps, we're like, okay, I'm just going to do bicep curls. But in reality, if you want to gain muscle, think about how many different muscles you can use. So that's why we do a lot of planks, because it's front, side, back, core. It's also utilizing your big muscles like your glutes and your back. And then you can do multi-directional. So you can do like the high knees. Um, Same with like when you're thinking about like a push-up, right? So if you're thinking about a push-up, and everybody can do a push-up, you can lay on your back with really heavy weights and do a chest press. You can be elevated, you can be on your knees, or your knees can be up, or you can have one foot up. So push-ups are a really, really beautiful exercise that uses compound movements. So it's using lots of different muscles in your body, but then we are strengthening. So when you think about that, think about multi-directional, and that's what we think about when we are planning the workouts. Okay, so working out, if you are not working out right now, just start lifting heavier weights 2 days a week. If you're already doing 2 days a week, do 3, and then add in the mobility and balance classes and the chiseling classes. So bar chisels. So a lot of times when we do like HIIT training, we're working on our bigger muscles, which is really good because that's good for our metabolism. That's good to build that like muscle in our body. But we need like bar yoga to really define and start helping kind of these big bossy muscles be supported by our little muscles in our body that also creates that definition. Um, and then, yeah, multi-directional. So then last but not least is our sleep. I'll do a whole thing on how to get a good night's sleep. You guys have heard me say it a million times, but 7 to 9 hours, to be honest, like 7 hours is like, I'd love to get 8 hours, but even if I am in bed, I still sleep 7 hours. So that's just kind of like where I fall to. I want to be better with that. And what I do that is my downfall is I'm too active, too close to when I go to bed. So what I need to do is take my everything down a notch, like 2 hours before I go to bed, instead of like working till that last minute, getting home, washing my face, like getting in bed, and then my mind doesn't have any time to like calm down and sleep. So what I suggest for a good night's sleep is, 1, turn everything off an hour before you go to bed. 2 would be great, is like taking a nice bath, making sure that your room is really dark. I wear those eye covers. Make sure that there's no noise, and keep your room really cool. Okay, I love you guys. I know that was a lot. I hope it was helpful, and I hope it wasn't just repetitive, because this is something that I'm so passionate about. So really think about you. Think about your body. Get the InBody Scan or the DEXA scan. Look at where you're storing fat. Look at where you're storing muscle, and then make a plan. So from there, our plan is, how much veggies do you need a day, and how can you make that something that's simple? Next is, how much protein do you need, and are you actually digesting that protein? Oh, great. Oh, thank you so much. And then when it comes to exercise, lift heavy weight, form first, have a coach, have them watch you, but be consistent. 2 to 3 days a week of that HIIT training, where you're going to intervals. You get all the way to where you want to do a belly flop, you can't do one more, then recover, do it again, and then sleep. Okay, love you all. Mwah. Bye. Have a great day.